You know, Christmas is honestly one of my favorite times of year. We go and visit my family, or we spend it with Coco's family, and we really celebrate tradition. Stuffing is a big part of our Christmas, and we do it very, very differently. My wife being Lebanese and me being born in Texas and raised in California, the way that I was raised, the way that my mother made stuffing was, it was a cornbread stuffing, sausage, cornbread, celery, sage, and we'd either bake the stuffing or we'd stuff it inside of the turkey. And her mother actually taught me how they do it. They make a hashway, which is a stuffing made with beef and rice, and then topped with 7 spice and nutmeg, and then it's tossed with some toasted nuts. We're using almonds and pine nuts. So I'm very excited to share, how these two cultures kind of come together and create a perfect meal. That's why I said hashway.
Not way, hashway.
Hashwa. Hashwa?
Not hash.
What, hashway? Huh?
Hashway. Hashway.
Hashway. I'm not gonna be able to tell you. The celery and the onions here are gonna be for my mother's stuffing. So this is for the cornbread stuffing. We already diced our cornbread. And these are basically the sort of the aromatics that'll go in. I do change my mother-in-law's recipes up a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, I think you have to respect the traditions behind the recipes, and it's fine to take things and make them your own, but you also have to be aware of your audience. So if the audience is all of her kids, and her grandchildren, then I think that it should be made pretty traditional. Season it with some salt. All right, for my mother-in-law's stuffing, add some salt. Again, her recipe, so exact measurements. We have some 7 spice in here. This is actually a homemade blend, so we take all the spices, we toast them, and we make a blend that her family uses. So salt, we need a little bit of nutmeg in there as well. And when I make this with her, she says this is the key. That's nutmeg. So normally I rinse the rice, but we do not rinse the rice for this recipe. She might be a better cook than me, so we're gonna follow her recipe. We want to toast the rice just a touch, not too much, but just sweat it out in that oil. Again, you're bringing out the fragrance of the rice when you toast it. You can see how there's a lot of fat in the pan and stuff like that. It's just gonna add sort of flavor to that rice when we cook it. We'll go ahead and add water here and bring it up to a boil. All right, we're gonna put the sage in my mother's stuffing, the cornbread stuffing. I'll go ahead and sprinkle that in there. And the sage is really, just like this, the nutmeg was the star of the show. I think the sage is the star of the show with the cornbread. For our next step, we're gonna go ahead and combine the cornbread and the sausage. Very important to let this cornbread kind of sit out for at least an hour to kind of dry out a little bit, because you want it to dry out so it can soak up a little bit of the fat, and it can also soak up some of that the stock that we'll add to moisten it up. We have slivered almonds and pine nuts that we'll toast. They toast at different temperatures and different times, so we're gonna do the almonds first. Just stirring it and tossing it. Having my mother-in-law's traditions and my mom's tradition, it really makes me think about the present that we're sitting in, and then how these recipes will even carry on for the future generations. It means so much to me to be able to present these dishes to my family, or even have them cook them with me, and to sit down and to enjoy meals like this together.